So I'm sure by now we all know that jollof rice is a pretty hot topic, not just because it is one of the greatest dishes ever to exist, but mostly because Nigerians and Ghanaians are always fighting over whose version is the best. Which is funny to me because jollof rice actually originated from the Wolof tribe that is predominantly found in Senegal. So technically it doesn't belong to Nigeria or Ghana, but we're just the ones who make the most noise about it. But it is a huge staple in West Africa, and every West African country sort of has its own way of making jollof rice. It's also one of those dishes that just differs from house to house. So it doesn't matter what country you're in, everybody's mom just makes it differently. Of course, there are the non-negotiable basic steps of making jollof rice, but there's still some differences in how people make them. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I like to make jollof rice and why it is one of my favorite dishes to make. Okay, let's get started. So for today's ingredients, I have 4 tomatoes here. I also have a red bell pepper, a whole onion, 2 Scotch bonnet peppers for a good amount of heat, and I also have a stick of ginger. I will not use this whole thing, just a little bit of it, and I also have some peeled cloves of garlic. So obviously the star of the show is the rice itself, and for jollof rice you want to make sure you're using a very good quality rice. Usually we use long grain parboiled white rice to make jollof rice, but personally I like to use basmati rice. However, the issue that I always had was that because basmati rice is softer, I guess more brittle than normal parboiled white rice, it tends to break apart easily when I'm making jollof rice, and the result was just off and I would always get frustrated. So after such a long time of experimenting with different kinds of basmati rice, I finally found this brand. This is actually a Pakistani rice brand, and this is perfect for the kind of jollof rice I want to make. You just want to look for any brand that has extra long basmati sila or sela, I don't know how to pronounce it, rice. That will give you exactly what you're looking for. So in a blender, I'll just throw all of these chopped vegetables in here. Then I'll pour the blended mixture into the pot. And I'm just going to boil this down until it's completely dried. The point of that is for the blended mixture to just release the sweetness and the flavor that will really help in making the sauce. You want to make sure you're washing your rice really well so that you get off as much starch as you can. Because if there's still a lot of starch, your jollof rice is going to be really soggy, and that's not really what you're looking for. So you want to keep doing this until the water is clear. Okay, this is just about done now, so I'm just going to put this to the side. So in a different pot, I'm going to put in some palm oil. You do not need to do this at all, but there's just something about the taste palm oil brings that I absolutely love. So I like to use just a little bit of it in addition to some vegetable oil. And I'll throw in some diced onions. Two minutes or so of frying, I'm going to add in our blended mixture. Just mix in. I probably will add in a bit more oil because this is supposed to fry with the onions. People definitely add a lot more oil than this, but I personally just prefer mine less oily, so I'm not going to do that this time. After a few minutes of frying, I'll add in some seasoning cubes. This you really do not have to add. I don't like to use this too much in my cooking because it isn't really the healthiest thing. So if you're going to use seasoning cubes, just use them sparingly. I'll also add in some curry powder and a little bit of garlic powder. Some thyme as well. Ooh, also some salt. I'll cook this for 2 more minutes. After a couple of minutes, I'll add in some water. And I'll just cover this and let it cook for 10-15 minutes. Okay, this has been boiling for a while, so let's... Oh wow, that already smells so good, so good. I'll just taste it to see if I'm happy with the flavor. Oh, that's amazing. Wow, that is so good. Okay, so that seems fine to me. I think the only thing I would add right now is some more. It's not spicy enough for me, and I have this ground Scotch bonnet, which is really super hot, so I'll just add a bit of this. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now I'll add in our rice. And this right here is probably the most crucial step or crucial part of making jollof rice, because firstly you want to make sure that the sauce to rice ratio is about 2:1, so the rice really absorbs enough of that and really gets that red color that jollof rice is popularly known for. But at the same time, you have to be careful, because if you have too much sauce, then the rice gets soggy, and if you don't have enough, then the rice doesn't fully absorb what it needs to. So it's a delicate balance, and you really need to just be careful. One way I like to mitigate that is, if I've noticed I have quite a bit of sauce, I'll actually just take some of that and put that in a separate container and add the rice, so that if I do need to add more later, I can always do that. But the rice is all in, so what I'll do now is just get some foil paper and just cover this. Make sure the burner is turned to low heat so it starts to steam. The steam is really what's going to cook the rice after it's absorbed all that sauce. Close that with the lid. And we'll let that cook on low heat for about 20 minutes. Now, you're not just going to eat jollof rice on its own. So to go with this, I'm actually preparing some chicken as well. I've cut it up, marinated it, and I've lightly boiled it as well. So now I'm just going to pop it in the oven, and yeah, that'll be our side dish for today. After about 20 minutes, this is what our rice looks like. You can see it's already soaked up so much of that sauce. Just give it a good stir. Just mix that in. And I'll just cover that to cook a bit more. Okay, after about 10 more minutes or so, this is what our rice looks like. It's looking absolutely incredible. Just stir that. Okay, great. There's still a bit of moisture left. So at this point, what I like to do is just add in some chopped onions, just a little garnish. And also, I will add in just a little bit of butter just to finish this off. If you've never tried adding butter to jollof rice, trust me, it is an absolute game changer. It gives it this smooth, silky, and soft feel on the tongue that is just incredible. I remember the first time I had jollof rice with butter, I was quite young and I went to a friend's house and his mom would make it this way. And I thought it was strange at first, but when I tasted it, it's a taste I've never forgotten. So once in a while now, I like to do it myself. Okay, and our rice should be just about done. Look at that. This is exactly what we want. Some of the grains of rice broke a little, but that's fine. I mean, it's the taste that matters. Sometimes you get it perfectly, sometimes it doesn't come out the way you want, but I mean, look at that. That still looks really good. So that is our jollof rice complete. Have a little taste test. And of course, some of that chicken. Okay. Yep. Wow. Okay, that's actually really, really good. And just like what I was saying about that butter, it's just smooth on the tongue. Really nice. I'm really happy with that. Yep. I like the fact that it's spicy. You have those undertones of the ginger that we added to this. It's savory, but you also have the sweetness of the blended mixture that we boiled down, and it all just goes really, really well. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, cooking with me today. As I said, this is one of my favorite dishes to make because I feel like it's a challenge every time just to get it perfectly. There's always some variation, I found, at least when I make it. So I like to challenge myself just to get it perfectly, at least my idea of perfect. But yeah, it's always fun making jollof rice, and I'm just happy that as a Nigerian, we have this as like one of our major delicacies. It's so good, and I'm just proud to have this as my cuisine. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. See you.